What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Red. Last time, we made our way to Lavender Town, so let's take a quick look around. And here we have a fellow who, if I chose to talk to, which I'm not going to do, he will allow you to rename your Pokemon. I don't think there's anything of note in here. There's a little bit of a backstory thingamabobber there. So Pokemart, I want to pop in here real quick because I want to buy a couple Great Balls. It's probably overkill, but I'm gonna need a couple of them pretty soon. Well, maybe not pretty soon, but in the somewhat near future. So I might as well grab them now. Dead Pokemon in the Pokemon Tower, huh? That's kind of morbid. These guys just tell us a little bit about Mr. Fuji, who's apparently missing. And that's really all there is to Lavender Town. There is this place here, which is the Pokemon Tower that I mentioned earlier. And this is actually like a dungeon. No, we can go up these stairs and actually start exploring. Actually, our rival is right there, so we might as well face him right now. Indeed, they are not. So then, why are you here? I don't know. Anyways, whatever the case may be, we actually don't want to be, like, in this dungeon right now. Like, how should I put this? Like, this is a dungeon that we technically have to come back to. It looks like Drowsy's gonna get slaughtered by this Pidgeotto, so might as well pull out now. Let's just go for Charmeleon. Try and save my other Pokemon for use against Wartortle. Seeing as Charmeleon is probably not a good candidate to use against Wartortle. Anyways, as I was saying, this is a dungeon that we're going to have to come back to later because as it is right now, we can't actually make our way all the way through the dungeon. Might as well switch to Gyarados to deal with this Growlithe. So we can make it, I'm pretty sure, almost all the way up, but there is something that will halt our progress partway through. So rather than go through most of the dungeon and then leave and then come back again, I figure I might as well just deal with the entirety of the dungeon when I can actually make my way all the way through it. Which I'm not entirely sure how that works out level-wise. I believe that the stuff in this dungeon is actually fairly low level. So, just in terms of getting like experience and stuff, it seems like it would probably be a good idea to do this stuff now. So, because of the way the experience works out, it's probably like if I'm going to go to another area, then chances are it's going to be full of higher level Pokemon, and then it just doesn't make it doesn't make a lot of sense to go kill those high level stuff, get a bunch of experience from that, and then come back here to where the low level stuff is, and then just kind of steamroll that. But that's just, I don't care about that as much as the stuff I was saying earlier about making my way all the way through the dungeon. So anyways, that was actually a really easy fight. Seems like our team lineup. Well, good for you. Our team strategy seems to be working so far. The fights against our rival has gotten gradually easier as we go along. So anyways, now that I've rambled enough, one thing I guess that I should mention is that now that we have made our way through the rock tunnel, the game actually opens up a little bit. Look at our town map here. So we're here in Lavender Town, and let's just go up to Lavender Town. There's a couple ways that we can go now. There's obviously the Pokemon Tower, which, as I talked about, we can't make our way all the way through yet, so I'm not going to bother. We can go to the west, over to Celedon City. Of course, the town in the middle there, Saffron City. You may recall that the guards there complained about being thirsty or something and just kicked us out. so we can't actually get there yet. Now there's also this route down here to the south of Lavender Town that we could actually start going down now if we so choose. Just down here. But this is, for one, it's an extremely long pathway. But also, you may recall that down here in Vermilion City, we went over to the east a little bit at one point, right there. And we found a sleeping Pokemon that was blocking our path. So in that regard, if we were to continue coming down this way, we would run into that same Pokemon. We don't have a way to deal with that yet, so we can't really do much of anything down there. And so, that leaves to the west as our only recourse. Actually, before I do much of anything, I might as well pay a quick visit to the Pokemon Center. Mostly just because I got a little bit rambunctious with my Drowsy. Bit off a little bit more than he can chew. Yay! Actually, the Pokemon Tower would be a very good place to level Drowsy up in because it's all ghost Pokemon in there, and in Generation 1, all ghost Pokemon are also their secondary type is poison, making them weak to psychic type attacks. Also, actually, the ghost attack Lick, it does no damage against psychic type Pokemon. So, psychic types in Generation 1 are extremely good against ghost types. But, it is what it is. I'm just gonna head over to the west just because it's more convenient, really. If I didn't care so much about just kind of doing things, not even so much in order, just it feels better to come back when I can make it all the way through. If I didn't care as much about that, then I would definitely take the time to clear out the Pokemon Tower and get some experience from that, especially for Drowsy. I guess one of the other things that comes down to for me is just the fact that if I were to clear through the Pokemon Tower now, like, it's double slap, not triple slap. You cheater. A part of the whole process of having to come back to the Pokemon Tower is also just the fact that if I were to clear through it now and then come back, I would have to walk all the way up it again. And, well, that would just be annoying. Kind of like that fight was. I managed to take out those Clefairy pretty easily. Well, not easily, but I really don't want to be running back to the Pokemon Center, but I really do want to be getting Drowsy experience, so I think I'm going to go and use Drowsy for Pokemon that he's actually strong against, and probably do the whole like switching back and forth thing, rather than actually trying to kill stuff at this point, because Drowsy's at the point where he can kill stuff, but it's just not efficient. So, where was I? I'm just trying to remember, did I actually state my point there when I was talking about the Pokemon Tower? Like, I don't want to go through the entire dungeon twice, which is, I guess, what this all ultimately comes down to. Because it is a pretty tall tower, and there are random battles inside of it, so I don't want to screw around more than I have to. Good thing Gyarados is water type. Your Ember is not very effective against me. Bye-bye, Growlithe. Vulpix, huh? I'm just not gonna bother switching. I'm lazy. Gyarados is a beast. Seems like he has a lot of defense. Or maybe Vulpix just isn't very strong, which is very likely. Well, let's see here. 57 defense. It seems decent. It's as much as Charmeleon, and he's, what, 6 levels below? So... okay, well, that Flash doesn't actually do anything. we could go in there, but I'm pretty sure all we actually have in there is just tall grass, so... If there's a Pokemon in this area that you want to catch, feel free, I guess? Let's see. In this area, we will fight... Pidgeotto only in yellow, actually. Rattata, Ekans in red, Sandshrew in blue, Vulpix in blue, Jigglypuff in yellow, Meowth in blue, Mankey in red, Growlithe in red, and Abra and Kadabra in yellow. So nothing that I'm actually concerned about. But I am concerned with killing this Grimer. I don't think we've actually encountered any Grimers up till now. Unsurprisingly, they are a poison-type Pokemon, and thus a good target for Drowsy. Mach. I don't know what it is about Disable, but it never seems like it really does much of anything. Especially when it doesn't work. It just seems like as none of the attacks that I actually care about are ever disabled. It doesn't seem like it has the ability to disable the ability that you're currently using, so I guess that's what it comes down to. That would probably cause strange things to happen if it could. But obviously, the attack that you're using is the attack that you care about, so if it can't disable that attack, then what good is it? I mean, I guess there are fringe situations where it could be useful, but it's just so random and all that stuff. Oh, there's a whole bunch of dudes over there. Well, one dude and a bunch of girls. I guess he's quite the playboy. Oh, what? He's a super nerd? How does he rate? Well, coughing is another poison type. I didn't actually think there are this many poison types out here. It actually makes me glad that I took the time to heal up my Drowsy so they could actually perform against these guys. Slowly coming into his own. I believe Drowsy actually evolved at level... I want to say level 30, so that's actually coming up too. Not like super soon, but soon enough. Is this chick actually going to use Nidorans? Because they're poisoned, part poison type as well. That's actually kind of crazy. Like, I knew there were a bunch of poison types in the Pokemon Tower, but I didn't expect there to be this many poison types out on, I think this is Route 8? I mean, certainly not complaining. Wow, that's one ugly Pokemon. Oh wait, Nidorina missed? I thought Drowsy went first for some reason. Yeah, that's right. Hurt yourself in your confusion. Now, if Nidorina actually had any stats, she probably would have killed herself with her own attack. But she does not. Why, you ask? It is because you suck. So, I feel like she's probably going to be using Meowth. Alas, Meowth is not a poison-type Pokemon. Let's actually just go for Dugtrio rather than Gyarados, because Meowth are pretty pathetic, so... I might as well give, Oh, he doesn't know Slash yet, does he? Oh well. Dig it is. What level did I say he learns Slash at? 34? That's kind of unfortunate. I guess it's gonna be a while. Unfortunately, that means the Dugtrio is more or less only useful for killing 10 Pokemon at a time between visits to the Pokemon Center, but it is what it is. Luckily, I think Dugtrio actually levels up pretty quickly. Like, different Pokemon actually require different amounts of experience to level up. Like, I believe... I don't know exactly how the formula works, but I know that if you look online, it's pretty easy to find out how much experience each Pokemon takes to get to level 100. So some Pokemon might take like 3 million experience, whereas others only take like 1 million experience, which obviously 1 million sounds like a lot, but it's still only like a third of the other Pokemon, so... Well, this thing's only level 19, so... whatever. And it's gonna try and use Whirlwind. Sucks to be you. Actually, this trainer only has 5 Pokemon, so they're all gonna be pretty low level. Let's see how Body Slam works for me. Not too shabby. If nothing else, it lets me conserve my uses of Confusion a little bit. I know I said I didn't want to use Drowsy just straight up, but against Pokemon 4 levels below me, it does make some sense. It's getting a pretty good workout one way or another, though. Nidoran male, of course, is part Poison type. Yay! Headbutt, huh? Oop. Actually, I don't want to do that. I'm pretty sure the Headbutt is the same or less power than Body Slam. Whereas Body Slam, I'm pretty sure, also comes with the ability, or a chance at least, to inflict flinch, making Body Slam a better option. Well, that may not actually be correct. I guess it's possible that what was it, Headbutt? I don't think Headbutt is actually stronger than Body Slam. It's unfortunate that they don't actually tell you the power of these attacks in these games. I don't think that's a feature that comes in until Generation 3. So at this point, I'm pretty much just going off of memory. I could look it up, but I don't really want to look it up in the middle of an episode. Maybe if I had it pulled up already. You may have noticed that I picked up an extra 38, whatever the currency is, at the end of that fight, and that's just because there was a Meowth that used Payday. So, I believe the way that works is that Payday generates an extra certain amount of money, and that money just goes to whoever the victor is. Underground Path. Got another trainer dude here. I believe he's the last one in this area. No, there's one more. Let's see what you got. Poliwag, huh? Let's try and put you to sleep. Well, that was interesting. That shouldn't kill me. It's a... what? Bubble is a special type attack, and Drowsy has a very high special stat. Which, fortunately for us, in Generation 1, Special is a blanket stat that affects the power of your special attacks, as well as your defense against special attacks. Therefore, Psychic Pokemon are also, by default, typically very strong against other special type attacks. Yeah, I was kind of taking a bit of a risk there with Drowsy, so let's not push our luck too much. Also, the beeping is getting annoying, as it has a tendency to do. Oh, that was fast. Poliwhirl! Oh my! That's quite the pose there. Ah. Oh, interesting. Critical hit and flinch. It doesn't get much better than that. Drat! Okay, and just take a look over this way real quick. As I mentioned, this is the entrance to Celedon City. And the guard complains about being thirsty and kicks us out. Not a whole lot we can do about that right now, but we can say hello to this fellow. Battle time! Super nerd. Ah, Voltorb. Oh, Voltorb, why are you not poison type? If you were poison type, I could kill you with ease. Probably? I don't know, Drowsy isn't quite at the level yet where he can take out, like, any poison type with a single hit. So maybe not. He's almost there. I guess the thing about Drowsy is that he never really gets to the point where he's that overwhelmingly powerful. Like, he's a psychic type, so by default he's just, like, really, really good. Yeah, let's give Drowsy a shot. But, if I were to have, say, Kadabra, like, Kadabra gets ridiculously powerful to the point where he can kill, like, virtually anything in a single shot, like, really quickly, and he stays that way for pretty much the entire game. Drowsy never really gets to that point, but he does have his own advantages. Probably most notable is the fact that he's just a lot more resilient. I think he's faster, too. The whole Abracadabra Alakazam evolutionary line, they tend to have very, very low defense and very, very low health. Whereas, I'll keep Dugtrio out. Drowsy and his evolution Hypno, they have a lot more health and a decent amount of defense, so they're a lot kind of more beefy. They can take more punishment. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they're a little bit faster as well, but that doesn't matter significantly. Ow! And now that we're done with that, we have another underground tunnel here. So just hop on our bike real quick. I believe if we continually examine along the bottom here... Where are you? I guess I missed it. There should be somewhere... I'm pretty sure there's like an invisible elixir here somewhere. Is it an elixir? I don't know. An invisible item of some sort that you can find if you examine it. Typically you're supposed to use the item finder, but I believe you only get that by talking to one of Professor Oak's aides after you have 40 Pokemon types caught. And I am not going to have 40 Pokemon types caught, so I'm not going to get the item finder. But I also don't particularly care about finding that item, so it is what it is. Anyways, we have now arrived in Celedon City. Heal our Pokemon up real quick. Yay, healification. So let's take a quick look at our map again. No, not Super Potion. Map. Okay, well, man, the way this map works is kind of weird. Celedon City. We're here, and we were in Lavender Town, and we just took the underground path and kind of skipped past Saffron City. Much like we did when we came around the other way and went to Vermilion City from Cerulean City. But we will actually be able to get to Saffron City fairly soon. Anyways, there's a bunch of things we can do here in Celedon City. The first of which is if we come around behind this building, go up the stairs a whole bunch of times, and come in this little room. We have random Pokeball containing an Eevee, which is actually a Pokemon. See? Eevee. And Eevee is the newest member of our team. Eevee is actually a Pokemon that I am going to be using long term. Well, technically. I don't really have any interest in using Eevee itself, but Eevee is an interesting Pokemon. You may recall at the beginning of the series I talked a lot about how in Pokemon Yellow your rival starts off with an Eevee, and it has 3 different evolutionary forms that it can take. At least in Generation 1. Eevee has a lot more forms that it can evolve into in future generations. But for now, it can only evolve into the Fire form, Flareon, the Water form, Vaporeon, or the Electric form, Jolteon. But which form am I going to use? Well, I've got a Water type in Gyarados, and I got a Fire type in Charmeleon. You also may recall that I talked a lot about at the beginning of the game, or around the beginning of the game, electric types and them being useful and all that fancy stuff. And the fact that I was going to be using or finding an electric type later on in the game. I had the opportunity to catch a Pikachu early on, and I decided not to. Here we can buy some TMs. Most of these are not particularly good, but TM1 is Mega Punch, which if you have any Pokemon that can use it that do not have a strong normal type attack, like say you're stuck using Tackle or Scratch or some such, the Mega Punch is good to use. Unfortunately, the only Pokemon I have that can learn it are Charmeleon and Drowsy, and I'm pretty sure Body Slam and Mega Punch are at least comparable, if not the same, more or less. So there's not that. There's not really much point there, and Charmeleon already knows Mega Punch. It's just none of my other Pokemon really have arms to punch with. Huh. I didn't even realize this guy gave me TM18. What's in that? Counter, huh? Not interested in that. Indeed. So this is just a really big compartment store, and I am looking for a Thunderstone. So I mentioned also in the past that certain Pokemon evolve by use of an elemental stone. I found a bunch of Moonstones that can be used on things like Clefairies, Jigglypuffs, and Nidorino. But in order to choose which evolution to get for Eevee, you have to use the appropriate stone. Thunderstone, Firestone, or Waterstone. And being as I'm going for the electric type, I use myself a Thunderstone. And Eevee becomes Jolteon, a moderately powerful electric type Pokemon. I say moderately because it's not like super awesome amazing, but it's definitely pretty useful. Better than most electric types in this game. Generation 1 doesn't have a whole lot by way of good electric type Pokemon, but we can teach Jolteon a Thunderbolt using TM24 that we got from defeating Lieutenant Surge way back when. I'm pretty sure Jolteon can learn Thunderbolt on its own naturally, but not for quite a while. And despite being electric type, it doesn't know any electric type attacks right yet. I believe it'll learn Thundershock at level 32, but I figured I might as well give him that just to give him a little bit of a head start. And I believe on this floor of the store, we can buy a bunch of stat boosting items for Pokemon. As well as these things which give a temporary stat boost in battle. I'm not particularly interested in buying any of those, but if you're interested in min-maxing your Pokemon hardcore, then it can be a good idea to buy the stat boosting items, the permanent ones, even though they're pretty expensive. So here we have a simple vending machine. I want to buy 2 fresh water, a soda pop, and lemonade. These things function the same as potions and such in battle. However, they also have another use. If we talk to this lady, we can give her a fresh water, which gives you TM13, which is Ice Beam, which is actually a very good attack. Now, I don't have an Ice-type Pokemon on my team, but I can teach Ice Beam to Gyarados, so I'm going to do that. Which, despite not getting the same type attack bonus from Ice Beam, it's a very useful ability to have. It's definitely much more useful than Tackle. And also, I can give her... She won't take another fresh water, but we can give her a soda pop. And she gives us TM48, which is Rock Slide. which is pretty good if you have a rock-type Pokemon, but I do not. We can give her Lemonade. TM49. Tri-Attack, which I honestly can't recall if it's good or not, which probably means that it isn't. I think I can teach that to Drowsy, but I don't think I want to actually replace any of his abilities with it, so I don't think anyone can learn this. Oh, Dugtrio can learn Rock Slide? Interesting. I guess I might as well. I mean, it's certainly better than, say, Sand Attack. That's actually very interesting. I did not realize Dugtrio could learn that ability. I don't know if it's ever going to come in useful, but it's always handy to have abilities that are unexpected, just to kind of, well, I want to say catch your opponent off guard. Of course, the enemy AI opponents don't really have any expectations or preconceived notions about your Pokemon. They're just AI, but having that flexibility in your Pokemon can be very handy, just to adapt to certain situations. There is a gym down there, but obviously this episode is starting to draw a little bit long, so I'm going to save that for tomorrow. The last thing I want to do for today is take this last fresh water that we bought, and we can give it to the guard here. And now we have access to Saffron City from any direction that we so choose. So we can go there whenever we want now, just to open up the game just that much more. But before we worry too much about that, we've got a bunch of stuff left to do here in Celedon City, so we will do that on the next episode of Let's Play Pokemon Red. Catch you later.